Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Here's why it's almost impossible to predict wins and losses for a season in the NFL. For the most part, most teams are equal. Then add in the injury factor and subtract the losses. The Browns look like they made a steal in the draft, taking LSU's Grant Delpit with the second-round pick. Now, although it's not official as of yet, he might be out with an Achilles injury. Defensive backs almost never really fully recover from those kinds of injuries. In the NFL, you need a lot of talent and a little bit of luck. Terry Pluto is here. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. With the number one pick. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine on a Monday night, it's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine, now coming up on our 25th consecutive year, exclusively powered by cleveland.com. Terry Pluto is here, and Terry, the sports writer of the year. And how many years have we had in our lifetime? A lot?
Well, the first time I got it was in 1864. They like my story from the Battle of Chancellorsville.
Of where? Chancellorsville?
Chancellorsville.
Where's that?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Virginia.
No. Where was that?
Where was 1864? The Civil War.
1854. Oh, yeah. Good. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Terry Pluto, the 87-time sports writer of the year in the state of Ohio. All right. It's training camp. That must mean somebody got hurt again today, and it was a guy they couldn't afford to get hurt. And I'm talking about Grant Delpit.
Not at all, because they really they had a first-round grade on him. They considered him perfect for Joe Woods' defense because he could play, in the box or coverage. And, I was reading about the injury. I didn't see it, but it happened in non-contact drills. Unless I do have expertise in the area of torn Achilles. I completely tore my left one. I partially tore my right one. And both times, it's called like non-contact drills. In other words, it sort of happened when they were just doing something. And that's exactly when he tore an Achilles. I remember Dan Marino did it against the Browns. He just dropped back to pass. Nobody touched him. It blew.
No, in fact, if I recall, they were blaming, Miami was blaming the groundskeepers for messing up.
Right. But it just happens. It's a wear and tear injury. Your friend of mine, Harry Weltman, remember him?
Sure.
He tore his Achilles walking up a flight of stairs. And, Harry was an athlete.
Right.
Worked out. So the difficult thing is, is it a partial tear or a full tear? But you're going to be out for quite a while with that. I mean, he's a young guy, and they're good at surgery and everything else. But I'll tell you, that's a setback because they didn't have a lot of depth at safety anyway.
No, right. And now Greedy Williams may have a problem also. They're not really publicizing it. One thing, though, on the Delpit injury is the fact that he came out of it as a surprise. He fell down a little bit in the draft, and it seemed like a steal when the deal was made. And that was the kind of thing that makes you or breaks you as far as your draft is concerned. Now you're 3 days into training camp, and my guess is you've lost him, although we don't know for how long.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's a partial tear, he's going to be out a couple months.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. And believe me, that's a lot better than a full.
Well, none of them are good. None of them are good.
No, and it's not like the Browns have a bunch of safeties, because remember they ran around bringing them in.
Yeah, right.
They brought in Thomas from Oakland. In fact, he's been out with a foot injury, and Sadeo, who's was with the Minnesota. They have Sheldon Redwine. They have this kid. They do like him some. His name is Becton. He's from Liberty College. He was one of those undrafted free agents, but they gave him like $60,000 to come in. We may get a chance to see Mr. Becton quite a bit the way this is going.
It's unbelievable. 216-575-0403 is the number. I just want to break away for a minute and give a news update. Many of you remember Preston Powell. Preston Powell played for the Browns in the 60s, became even more famous as being one of the top softball players in the and I'm laughing because Terry, people don't realize how big softball was back in those days at Morgana Park and all. But Preston unfortunately passed away overnight at the age of 83, and he's a terrific guy and a terrific teammate.
I know. I'm sure I saw him play because when I was a kid, my dad would take me out to Parma, where they used to have like the national tournament.
Sure.
And would see all those guys. I was trying to remember what team. I bet somebody out there does remember what team Preston Powell played for in Cleveland.
Any team my brother played for, Preston was there.
Drafting is always wise.
Yeah.
Good drafting. So,
yeah, non-Ferris. I believe the last team he played. I believe the last team he played for was non-Ferris, and you would have seen him.
Yeah,
back in those days.
That's exactly what I remember him from.
Yeah.
So I was sad to hear that, but I do remember hitting the ball a long way.
No question about it, too. And that's before the bats and the balls changed dramatically. 216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. All right, just before we'll talk about this a little bit later, but the plot thickens as far as the Indians pitchers are concerned. What the heck do you do with these guys now?
I bring them. They started for Wednesday. In fact, I have a column coming up. I'm back to work after spending some time on vacation. So I would probably start Clevinger on Wednesday, and I would also bring back Plesac at whatever point relatively soon, because I was before with I came on with U.S. They Indians had a conference call, and I asked Sandy Alomar about Carlos Carrasco. His last 3 starts, he's thrown 12 innings and he's walked 9. This is a guy that
that's not him.
Rarely walked anybody.
Yeah, that's the problem.
As Sandy said, it's like his control's messed up. As he mentioned a couple starts ago, he said he kept bouncing the ball in front of the plate. Then he said this last start he kept missing up high, and so you've got to wonder: do you put Carlos in the bullpen perhaps, and something like that? And Pleto's been throwing batting practice his last couple of starts. So, as you know, with the way they don't hit, you have to have as strong a rotation as possible. Yeah.
216-575. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Les.
575-0403.
The other point is they may want to trade Clevinger. I mean, right. they toyed with that in the offseason anyway, because in the spring of 2019, not this past spring, but 19, they offered him what they thought was a pretty decent extension, and he turned it down. And then, if you remember, look, when he's healthy, he's really good. But in the last year and a half, he has had the following. Remember, he had a very significant back of his shoulder injury last year.
And everybody was impressed. Everybody was impressed thinking he came back so early because he was a great healer.
Right, because it was a major injury, and he still missed 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Then he hurt his ankle and went on the disabled list for that. Then in spring training, right before spring training started, he hurt his knee and had knee surgery. That delivery lesson, you love baseball like I do. Would anybody teach anybody to throw like Clevinger does?
You got the arms and legs going all over the place. It makes no sense at all.
So that's why I think he could be a guy that's traded. And then let me just throw this also out too, Les. They got to get some outfielders.
Oh, it's the worst collection of outfielders maybe ever.
And they don't have guys like in AA or AAA. So he could be a guy that you could use to bring in, some like real outfield prospects.
Right. It'd be nice.
And try to get them going, because this is a problem that's going to continue into next year. It's not going away.
No, there's nobody to draw from. Let me jump back to the Browns for a minute, because I didn't mention Greedy Williams. He left the field with a trainer. Any update on him or any knowledge about what happened?
No, they just said they looked at his shoulder, but you don't like to hear that either.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not as alarming as the Achilles, but my goodness, to lose 2 of those guys in one day.
Yeah,
and, they don't have Tretter. So.
Football's a tough sport, by the way, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Hey, Earl Thomas was released after an altercation with the Ravens safety Chuck Clark. Should the Browns take a risk on him? I mean, they got enough trouble already, don't they?
They do, yeah. I do like him as a player, although he wasn't that good last year. But, he's 31. They brought in Malcolm Smith, who's also 31. Malcolm Smith, by the way, this is his 4th team in the last 3 years. Last year Malcolm Smith only played 83 total snaps. I don't know on Thomas. I know it's like he made a Pro Bowl last year, but nobody knows why. He didn't play that particularly well. You know how that is. Sometimes you make it on your reputation.
Well, and your buddies vote also, so that doesn't hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
The thing on Thomas, how long, from a journalistic point of view, how long do you get to put comma Pro Bowl or Super Bowl MVP? At what point is that okay? That it's ancient history. Now what can the guy do today? At what point does that come about?
Well, you only do it if they say, but in the last 3 years, he's been with 4 different teams and he played 83 snaps total last year. That's what it is. Because the last year he was a regular was 2016. 2017 he was injured, and then he's bounced from team to team in 18 and 19. But supposed to be a really good guy, all that stuff. I don't doubt it.
But he still has that Super Bowl MVP ring.
Yeah, I mean the great thing is it's kind of like you won an Academy Award in this movie or whatever, and since then you couldn't remember a line, but you still won it.
Or you forgot that you won it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Can you divulge where you went on your vacation?
Sure, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, the Marquette area. I love it up there. Since I wrote a faith column about it, it wasn't exactly a big mystery, and I kept posting pictures of waterfalls and Lake Superior and that. If you're going to go to the UP of Michigan, do not go. I made this mistake a long time ago in the month of June. Because they don't have bugs. They have like these huge creatures that come off aircraft carriers and submarines. I mean, Roberta and I like to hike, and we've hiked parts of the Appalachian Trail, all this stuff. So it's not like a few bugs bother us, but these things like swarm, and then the black flies come and all that. By the middle of July, most of them are gone. In August, September is a great time to go. It's beautiful up there, but do not go in bug season, as it's called.
216-575-0403. Terry Pluto is with us. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more sports and less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. Really simple. We post the question during the morning. You answer it during the day, then we read it at night. What could be easier than that? Facebook.com. We'll come back in a moment. We are powered by cleveland.com. Terry Pluto is with us. Tomorrow night it's Bud Shaw.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com, Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Terry, before the break, you kind of alluded to this a little bit. The Browns over the weekend, they added linebacker Malcolm Smith to help alleviate the injury to Mack Wilson. So here's a little bit about him and what he brings to the table. He's 31 years old, has played in 8 NFL seasons, so he brings a veteran presence that the Browns linebackers lacked up to this point. Has 52 career starts. Second most on the roster is B.J. Goodson with only 29. Although he only played 4 games last season with the Cowboys and the Jaguars. He had 4 interceptions, 10 fumbles forced in 104 career games, and you guys alluded to this as well. He's a Super Bowl MVP in 2013. So Les, Terry, want to get your opinion on what kind of role you envision Malcolm Smith in this season.
Terry, the good thing that we found out here is that if we do go to Northern Michigan, I can leave and Brian can fill in for me.
Well, Brian laid it all out there. You know what kind of role? Probably bigger than anybody ever imagined. He just came in off the street. Goodson, he only played about 30% of the snaps last year for Green Bay, and he's primarily a guy against the run. I think here's the killer about the Delpit thing is they were going to play 2 linebackers and 3 safeties a lot, with Delpit being the third safety playing quite a bit.
Can't do that now.
He's out.
Yeah,
and Wilson's out. Now, I was told Sion Taki's played fairly well, which is good news. Remember last year we heard a lot about him, and then nothing on the regular season.
Right.
And then the other guy, is this Jacob Phillips that they drafted in the 3rd round from LSU. I just think, he's just the Smiths. He's a role player. I mean, there's a reason he's been with 4 teams in 3 years.
All right. That being said, that position has been open for a while, or it could have been open for a while. And when they finally had to make a move, which was in the last couple of days, you see that that he's right. Smith is the first one taken, so he was right on their tail most of the time in the preseason here.
I agree.
You would think.
They usually do, and these guys are pretty organized. The Browns front office with Andrew Berry. I mean, they have an idea who they want if somebody else goes down. So. And clearly they liked him better than they want Clay Matthews the third. They look at young Clay, or who's not so young anymore. They look at him almost more like a pass rushing defensive end than a linebacker. The Browns think that their linebackers need to be quick and need to cover tight ends and that kind of thing. So that's why they've so far not had really any interest in Matthews at all. And clearly they had Malcolm Thomas rated above him.
Now, in the Smith thing, I mentioned
Malcolm Smith. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mentioned in the last segment that how long do you live with the moniker of Super Bowl MVP? Right. I mean, he was here. We are in 2020. He was MVP in 13, right?
Yeah, so he did have a good season in 2016, and then he was hurt in 17. And since then, it's been a battle for him trying just to get back to being close to a regular. I mean, let's just be real. here they are. We've been at camp, I don't know, 2-3 weeks or whatever. The guy hadn't had a job.
Yeah, right. So he's got to get in game shape. It'll take him a couple of weeks to do that.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of game shape and all, this is sort of astounding to me, that this COVID testing and all that, and then you get false reports, and one of them happened to be on Kevin Stefanski, the coach of the Browns, and he
One was on the governor.
And the governor, yeah.
I mean, I'm not making fun, right?
Yeah. Well, makes you wonder, but I mean,
Yes.
you talk about things. It's funny when you name a new head coach. What you've done is you've undid almost everything that's happened over the past couple of years in that front office, and then on top of everything else, you give a new coach his first job, and then you hit him with a positive result on a COVID test. You have on the third day of practice, you probably lose your defensive back to an Achilles injury. I mean, you talk about things that coaches have never seen before. This is exactly what you're talking about.
Right, and I tell you a big deal too. Now, he's supposed to be ready by the opener, but losing J.C. Tretter is a big deal.
Sure.
Not having him there because, they want that offensive line to really be, Joe Thomas told me, the offensive line is like your hand. And when you look at your hand, none of your fingers are the same. They each have a little different role. And, the middle finger right there, that is J.C. Tretter, and it's kind of does the direction of it. So he's not going to be doing that. I mean, it gives Harris a chance to play quite a bit, the kid they drafted from Washington, the rookie. But because remember, you're breaking in Wills at the left tackle spot that he hadn't played before. So you're correct, Les. I mean, in a normal camp, would these injuries be a problem?
Right.
Then you don't have the preseason games and everything else.
No.
I was just looking at the transcript of Alex Van Pelt right before we came on because he did a little Zoom call, and he mentioned that he said, we're still trying to figure out who we are on offense, and also he said there's a real sense of urgency kind of to get that together.
Well, you got 2.5 weeks till the games begin for real.
Yeah.
And the other thing is,
I've not been out there because I've been on vacation, Les. I've not been out there, but I talked to some people who have been for a few of these, and they said the offenses look really ragged.
well, you would expect that, but maybe not as.
Yeah.
I've also been told it's worse than they expected. So we'll see. That one will wait
Right.
out.
I mean, it could change. It's just like you said, though. To your point, it's hard. And then on top of it, being a rookie head coach is difficult enough, but when you're just probably sitting in meetings about the virus.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, think about it, because it's like, I remember Chris Antonetti was telling me recently, he's like, that's usually their meetings are about, player personnel, all this
Sure.
stuff. They're virus meetings, not just medical things, but,
Yeah.
What are the best protocols, all this stuff. It's a bizarre year.
Terry Pluto is with us, 216-575-0403, Northeast Factory Direct, East, West, and South. They've got locations all over town, including the website. You got to check out northeastfactorydirect.com. Terry Pluto with us. Tomorrow night it's Bud Shaw, Dennis Maniloff on Wednesday, Mary Kay Cabot on Thursday. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
You see the competitive nature. There's no question. The guy loves to compete, loves to play football. One of the things that stands out there so far in all the practices has been an ability to extend the play. He has really good feel within the pocket, and he's athletic enough to get outside of the pocket. And when he does get outside the pocket, he's extremely accurate when he's on the move.
Hey, Coach. A follow-up on Baker. How is that new footwork coming along, and just how much has he embraced it, and where are you guys at with it?
Yeah, no, he's all bought in. All the quarterbacks have all bought in. I had Case actually made a comment how he's now a believer in the footwork. He loves it. As far as the rhythm and the timing, Baker put a lot of work in the offseason. And, our goal was to get him into that muscle memory, that comfort level where I'm not thinking about my feet anymore. It's an automatic deal. And he's getting there. I mean, he's really done a great job, all through training camp of sticking to that. There's been very few occasions where I'd look at his feet and say, hey, wait a second here. That's not what we're doing from a footwork standpoint. Backs have really been on point with that.
Hey, Coach, I want to go back and ask you a little bit more about Baker's new footwork, specifically how it's helping him throw the football. Can you point to any one or two examples where you've seen the footwork paying off? Like, is he not sailing the ball as often, just in terms of footwork and how it's relating to him throwing the ball? What have you seen?
The biggest thing is just the rhythm and the timing. And that's the thing for quarterbacks in this system for the first time going through it. We really believe in listening to our feet. Your feet really tell you where you are within the progression. Oftentimes you get in trouble if you don't listen to your feet. That means you're spending too much time on a route, and then you have a tendency to force the ball in. So there's been multiple situations when we have listened to our feet, and there's been multiple situations yet where we're still teaching that progression for the quarterback. So the biggest thing I would say for him is just the accuracy in the three-step game shows up a lot better now with this footwork. It's more rhythmic.
Alex Van Pelt, the quarterback coach for the Browns. Terry, how many would you guess? You won't be held responsible on the quiz results. How many different feet situations are there? I mean, you got 32 teams, and they're learning a new thing. You would think it would be, 15 different ones or 12 different ones. Seems to me there's a lot more than there should be.
Probably, and also different. Different teams has accents on different things. I mean, these guys really want the quick 1, 2, 3 steps, throw the ball. That's what they want from Baker. And when you remember last year, it seemed like on some of those quick short passes, his accuracy was really bad. He was throwing the ball up high. Maybe perhaps he was being rushed too much, but they also felt that the footwork was leading to that. So we'll have to see. Now, a couple of good news things I heard about the offense. They've been raving about Odell Beckham. And that's nice to raving about him because last year in training camp, we hardly ever saw him.
Right.
So that's good news. He seems to be healthy and doing well. And out of nowhere, you'll like this one, Les. Hollywood Higgins came up in the press conference from Alex Van Pelt. They asked him about the younger receivers besides Odell and Jarvis. He goes, Hollywood Higgins. In fact, I got it right there, holding it up as things. He said, this guy's been, reliable. He's been the one working really hard. So Hollywood is emerging, which actually is what he needed to do. He needed to win over the new coaching staff.
Yeah, and I think it's important for fans to know when you hear that, your ears perk up when you hear that because it means more than just a compliment out there. You mean that he's rewarding, in this case, Higgins for doing his job. And so you look for stuff. That's not an accident that he said what he said and how he said it.
No, it's just like in the very first press conference Van Pelt had. Remember, he brought up Baker's footwork. Nobody brought it up. He did.
You're right.
So I always pay attention when they bring something out of nowhere because that's something that's on their mind. And he said, by the way, Peoples-Jones, the guy that took from Michigan, he said he's been solid for a rookie. So that's actually been good too. I mean,
That's
one thing
that's
you
not
can't
flowery
tell
praise. That's not flowery
Yeah.
praise.
No, but he's a low round pick. I mean, let's
Yeah.
be honest here. He's a sixth
Right.
round. Plus, the one thing you can't tell a whole lot in practice, it's easier to kind of look at the passing game than the running game. They're not really hitting. You know, they're not hitting. They're not really blocking like you would. So you can't really see that. I mean, it's just a fact. You know, with Kareem and with Chubb, you're gonna be really good in the backfield if these guys just block reasonably well at all.
And it might help in the punt return game.
I would think so. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the return game.
Isn't it amazing that how bad the return game has been in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Travis Benjamin was pretty good. Remember at the end, though, even here, he started fumbling punts.
Right.
Oh,
Once
those
you do
guys
that,
are a
you're
little
done.
like closers. You ever notice they'll be good for a while and then they just sort of lose it somehow.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. No question about that. Hey,
and they probably don't get it back either.
no, you're thinking about catching it, and you might catch it, but you're either going to get no gain on the play or you may fumble it.
Yeah, you fumble, or else it's like you should have run up and fair caught it, but instead you stayed back, and then it bounced. Then it bounces over your head. You know, all that kind of stuff.
It never bounces easily to you. That's the rule.
No, and in fact, sometimes coaches get mad. They put a receiver out there and say, "Just fair catch everything."
That wouldn't be good if you've been drafted as a wide receiver and they just said catch the ball or knock it out of bounds. That might be a problem for you.
Yeah, just don't create a negative play.
Right.
You know, just get us the ball.
Exactly. Coming up on the 23rd of September, we've got my Parkinson's virtual walk. I'd like you to join. So many people. I just want to thank all the people who signed up for this and it gave a couple of dollars, whether it's $5, $10, $50. We appreciate it so much. It goes to a great cause, which is In Motion, which helps caretakers and patients at no charge for all the services they provide. My team name is Moving More with Less. You want to check that out at the address you see right there, which is events.beinmotion.org. We appreciate it very much. Doesn't conflict with the Browns game against the Ravens. The timing is different, so if you can join us, please do. 216-575-0403. Terry Pluto is here. We are powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
Here, let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
This data in sports history, all you have to do is say the name Pete Rose. It evokes interesting opinions from everybody. He was banned from baseball on this day. Hey, Terry, do you think that at this point it's now time to let him in?
Yeah, I would have voted for him if he were on the ballot at any point as a player. Now, where I would have said is like, you blew your chance to be a coach or whatever with the gambling. But in terms of deciding, is this guy a Hall of Fame worthy player? I mean, my goodness, we know Ty Cobb, all these different guys, what they did. Of course he is.
Of course.
And I would vote for him. I voted for Albert Bell when he was on the ballot all the time.
Yeah, well, you should have. In fact,
Right,
give him 2 more years and he probably makes it.
Yeah, that was a bad thing for Albert. I mean, the personality worked against him, and then the shortness of his career, the degenerative hip, which cut it. But I think he had 9 consecutive years of 100 RBIs or more.
He did.
And the fact that I wasn't a big fan of Albert's personality, I'm not a big fan of betting. But I do want to say this about the reason I would say that Rose should not have been allowed to manage or coach or anything once that came out. His excuse that I only bet on my own team.
That's a bad
is
excuse.
Terrible.
It's a bad excuse.
It's terrible.
No question about it.
Because, for example, you have 20 grand riding on this game, and your pitcher's at 105 pitches going into the 8th inning.
Keep him in there, yeah.
Keep him in there. What do I care?
Yeah. Let the next guy worry about it. All right, birthdays for today. Let's take a look who's celebrating a birthday. Grant Parole, born in 1947. Mike Shanahan, Cal Ripken Jr., Reggie Miller.
Wow.
What's that?
Oh, Cal, how's it feel to join the 60 club?
Who's that? Reggie?
Yeah, no, Cal, yeah, you're 60 years old.
Oh, Cal Ripken Jr. Yeah, unbelievable. And Brent Garner, also born on this date. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. I mentioned earlier for softball fans in the area that Preston Powell, former Browns player and great softball player, passed away last night. And he would be in the top 5 softball players of all time in Cleveland. Another one in the top 5 would have been Yaya Maceta, who's Mike Macetta's late grandfather. And Mike is with us tonight, and your dad and Preston had some great battles over the years. I can tell you that.
I believe it, and Yaya was one of the top 5 players in the nation, not just in the area. So yeah, he was phenomenal, and shortstop. I'd like to see him with the Indians right now playing shortstop.
Hey Terry,
he can get a few hits.
Terry, I talked to Mike this morning, and he brought up something that is almost not allowed to be said in Cleveland, but when you think about it, there might be something to it. Mike, tell Terry what you were talking about Francisco Lindor.
Well, I just, I saw him down in Akron and, years ago, and I just thought that he had a particularly long swing. And it was not what I would consider a quick, swing to the ball. And, the length of his swing, causes him to swing at a lot of bad pitches in the dirt, the off-speed pitches, things like that. And, it just kind of is what it is. And what you're seeing from him is when he hits the ball, he hits it hard, but he does not have a good on-base percentage. He doesn't have good at-bats. He strikes out a ton, and he's not what I would consider a top 3 in your lineup type hitter. And if he were to go to a Yankee team or something like that, he'd probably be batting 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in that spot in the order. But with the Indians, he's batting, somewhere between 1st and 3rd. I know that that's taboo to say, and I'm a fan of Lindor. He's a very, very good shortstop, but in terms of the offense, he just doesn't do it for me.
All right, Terry, anything to add to that or detract from it?
I mean, I saw him in Akron or whatever, and the swing at that point didn't bother me as much as it has the last number of years, where he seems to have been very, very power conscious. And maybe that's just the game we're playing now where nobody cares about strikeouts and just go hit a bunch of homers. But to Mike's point, I think it really hurts his offense because he's very athletic. You'd like this guy getting on base more.
Right. Steal some bases.
Steal some bases. Just use your. I mean, you don't put it in. What's the other thing? If you don't put the ball in play, you're not going to get on base. And he isn't walking. To Mike's point, also isn't walking like he should. So I'm really disappointed, and I wonder if some of the swinging these balls that are bouncing and that he's so trying to get out in front of it to hammer it that it's leading to a lot of bad guessing.
Yeah, he's also not looking like he's having fun right now.
I mean, they swing at more changeups that are about 57 feet
on the first pitch.
Yeah, it's just or 3-1. Here comes a changeup blown away in the dirt, and they swing at it. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. However, whether I agree or disagree, or you disagree or agree with Mike, I want him on my team, and I think every other team in baseball would take him, despite what might be a flaw.
He does have the ability to adjust. I mean, just because he's playing this way right now doesn't mean he won't turn around and have a huge year next year. But Mike's points are valid in a lot of areas.
Mike, what do you do with the pitching situation? Plesac and Clevinger. What do you do right here? You got to make a decision fairly soon.
Well, it's a tough call. Plesac and Clevinger, I think, can be treated. I'm going strictly by the reporting. Can be treated differently. Plesac, for all of it, whatever he did, he didn't lie. He was honest with his teammates and everything about it, and he's serving out his sentence for whatever he did through the Indians organization, and I think that they should welcome him back. And I would, and he's a younger player. Clevinger is almost 30 years old. He lied, and he put himself and his teammates in a really bad situation by just not being honest with them about what he did.
Terry, when you hear Perez say he doesn't want to play with the guy, that you don't hear that that stuff has been said, but it doesn't get public.
No, it doesn't. The thing that they were upset about with Plesac was, and by the way, Mike, you're right too. Clevinger's thing is much worse, but by omission he lied. Remember, because like when Plesac got caught by Major League Security when he came in the lobby, and they asked him, were you out? Where were you? He didn't say I was with Clevinger. He was covering for the brother.
Right.
But so he didn't turn him in. And then that video that he made was ridiculous.
Bad choice.
That was a bad thing.
Well,
but Clevinger,
bad choices. And he's a younger guy.
Right.
And but you can forgive a lot of that because he's quite frankly he's very talented and he came out and told his teammates the truth. And he's probably a good teammate, because he did that even though he screwed up, and that happens all the time.
I'd like to be in that meeting. I'd like to be in that meeting that he must have had with his uncle.
Oh yeah, well, exactly. Well, the other thing too is, if you're with the Indians and it's like Clevinger, how can you sit there and sit in that meeting the day after and you were out? Obviously, he was out past Plesac. Plesac came back, and Clevinger apparently went somewhere else or was still out, and then, defend Plesac. And I guess I heard in the meeting some people said, "What, were you out with him or what?" Almost like a sarcastic thing, And no, man, it was bad.
Yeah.
It's really
hey, Terry,
bad.
you over the
Clevinger too is. I mean, Plesac, hey, he signed, you got him under team control for like $1 million years. Cheap.
Terry,
that's the other thing you're looking at.
I'm pretty sure you heard Hal Lebovitz tell this story 1,000,000 times. I think it was Al Lopez, the manager of the Indians in the 50s, when they trained in Tucson, and when he thought some guys were in after the curfew, he would give a signed baseball to the elevator operator and say, when these guys come in, get their autographs. So you had them dead to rights.
Yeah, and I had somebody from the organization tell me, look, had these guys just come in and said, we were idiots, we were out, we shouldn't have done it, been really repentive, they go on that restricted list for a few days, they get fined, they come back, it's over.
Absolutely. All right. Anything you want to add to the proceedings here, Mr. Macetta?
Well, great question about the pitchers, and in short, if they can get something for Clevinger, I would probably trade him at this point. He is under team control for 3 years, and he's still got a lot left in the tank. And if he can get into an organization and apologize for these things, he could be pretty good. But you got to find the right trade partner. They need an outfielder with some power. Who can hit the ball. So that would be my only thing with Clevinger.
All right, Mike
trade Clevinger.
Mike Macetta from Nature Stone. It's not just the floor, Mike.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mike Macetta from Nature Stone. We're going to take a break. We'll come on back. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations plus the website. Check out the guaranteed low price thing that they have there, and they'll back up any purchase that is for more than what you paid. We'll take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. Terry Pluto with us. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Never replace your basement flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Pearl Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Terry, we've seen a lot of hype on certain players coming up in the Indians organization over the years. Greg Swindell, one that reminds me of what I'm about to say. But I don't care if it was the Detroit Tigers or who they were playing, the Indians I'm talking about. This Triston McKenzie, his debut the other day was as good as you're ever going to see.
It was sparkling, Les. And by the way, those same Tigers slammed around Carrasco and Pletka.
Right.
So
right. That's a phony excuse to say, well, it was only the Tigers. Major leaguers are major leaguers.
No, and it wasn't like the Tigers were like coming in where they were in a terrible slump or something.
Right. They were playing well.
They had been losing a bunch of games there. But this kid, and I intentionally went and made sure I watched the whole game. When he missed, he didn't miss by much. He would be just a couple inches outside or whatever. The 10 strikeouts and 1 walk and 2 hits. What was it? I think only Tiant had more strikeouts in his first game.
Tiant, McDowell, and
money
Herb,
off of me
Herb
for
scored.
that one too, because I would have guessed. I saw Herb score at 9. I would have guessed Feller. That kind of thing. That's another reason when we talk about making a trade. You do have him, and he has major league stuff.
Yeah.
The only issue with him will be durability. But my goodness.
Yeah, you look at him, his size and body, his body doesn't look like he's built to last.
No, I mean, you name another pitcher that looks like that. I can't think of one.
No, I can't either.
But in terms, he has in the minors.
Wait a minute. Bartolo Colon?
Yes.
No. Okay.
Want to try again?
CC Sabathia?
CC Sabathia, yeah. Well, I'll take CC Sabathia's career or Bartolo's career. How about those two guys?
No
Remember,
question.
they were fat and everything. They pitched forever.
That's one thing. The other thing, when I first saw Sabathia field a ground ball between first and third, or pitcher's mound and third. I said, where'd that come from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, he was all-state as a tight end in high school football in California.
Right.
And he was like all-conference in basketball as a power forward, Sabathia. Because I remember doing this long story about him when he first came up. So, you know, he was, even though he's heavy, he's one of those guys who was just a terrific athlete with his feet and lateral movement.
All right, so McKenzie.
In terms of McKenzie, though, you know, he's in the rotation.
Well, he sat out 2 years basically with the injury. So,
right.
But he wasn't afraid of Cabrera or anybody. You know, you talk about it's only the Tigers. They still have a Hall of Famer in Cabrera. 216-575-0403. All right, so he earns a second. You okay, Terry? You okay?
No, I need a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be right there.
How am I going to fill this? Oh, okay, I can do that. McKenzie earns his second start probably Friday against the Cardinals, and the Indians will have some kind of decision to make as far as McKenzie is concerned, and as far as certainly Clevinger and Plesac.
And I'm back among the living. Well, Alomar said today that they'll announce tomorrow. I think it's going to be either Plesac or Clevinger. By the way, if Clevinger stays in the minors for 20 days, it messes up his free agency timetable. And I don't think they want to do that because that creates a lot of bad will.
Yeah.
Now, suddenly, the team looks – in fact, when Francona talked about when they were sent to the minors, he said, we don't want to be vindictive about this. You know, they want to send a message.
Right. So by the way,
anticipate
you just mentioned the name. We need to talk just a little bit about Terry
Sure.
Francona. What do you know? What don't you know?
Well, he had another procedure done on this whole gastrointestinal problem he's had. By the way, I just saw this note on Twitter. I don't remember who posted it, but after tonight's game, Sandy will have managed more games this year than Francona.
Wow.
And,
yeah, we're
you
at the
know,
halfway point of the season right now.
Yeah, that's bugging me. I'm just kind of getting into baseball. It's like half over.
All right, the most important thing is the health situation. I'll worry about him managing
and
again.
And I mean, I probably would try to get Francona just to bag it for the year, get healthy,
Yeah.
and then come back in spring training. Because frankly, Sandy can do the job. I'm not trying to push him out, but it's not as if
No, he's been with
you
Francona
sit
the
there
whole
and,
way.
oh my goodness, who could handle this? Sandy was going to be the manager
Right.
until Francona became available.
Till they got
he was
surprised.
the only other one they interviewed. Remember, they put him in the last 6 games of the previous
Yeah.
season
Right.
to give him a trial run, and they like what they saw.
Absolutely. You can contact us if you can't get us during the show, which is on from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can get us as the self-proclaimed voicemail of truth and reason, and that comes your way the other 23 hours a day by calling 216-200-6650. 216-200-6650. We are powered by cleveland.com. We're coming back one more time with Terry Pluto, Bud Shaw tomorrow night. More sports and Les Levine, powered by cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature's Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature's Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw joins us at Bud Shaw. You can see us Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and then the rest of the day you can archive it. Wednesday night it'll be Dennis Maniloff. On Thursday it'll be Mary Kay Cabot. A fan in Atlanta says the only thing the Indians have is pitching. They should keep it while they can and bring them up as soon as possible. Terry, you mentioned the interview when Sandy Alomar won the interview. I will never forget the bad interview they had. I think it was for that job, maybe the one just before, and that was Manny Acta and Bobby Valentine. The Bobby Valentine thing was either the funniest or saddest thing I've ever seen in Cleveland sports.
It looked like he slept outside and just like kind of woke up. He couldn't think of the names of the players.
Or the city he was in.
It was bizarre.
It was bizarre.
I mean, I guess, and you know, Manny Acta was always a star of the all-interview team. He could really interview. Really nice man, but reminded me a little bit of Dave Garcia. He was probably much better as a third base coach, and but yeah, he was bad. But Sandy was not in the mix for the job then.
No. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Santa Clara, California for Bill, standing by with Terry Pluto. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey guys, couple quick questions. One is what happened to J.C. Tretter. Here we have he's out for 6 months in the off season, right? And could have had his knee scoped any time, and somehow it was the day before training camp opened. Oh, he's out. You know, and that's a story someone should look into.
Why? What do you think? What conspiracy you got going here?
It's not a conspiracy, but a failure of the medical staff to you know, maybe talk to him or whatever. You know, there was a failure of communication somewhere, because obviously Tretter knew that he had gravel in his knee, and you know, and this was not communicated up the
every guy
line
who
or
plays
something.
Every guy who plays gravels their knee, whatever that means. I don't know.
The other issue that sometimes happens with these guys when they come in, they get on a heavier weight program than they were on before, because especially remember they couldn't lift the things like they do. That's where you get the torn pectoral muscles. By the way, I looked up Malcolm Smith. That's what he missed 2017 with, was a major tear of the pectoral muscle there, and really hasn't been the same since. I mean, I was a little curious, like you were on the Tretter thing, but I just wondered if he came in and, you know, these guys. This thing messed up a lot of people physically.
And you also wonder how much extra effort he put in based on the fact he was the president of the union and didn't want to show weakness. You know, you don't know, Bill.
That's true. And of course, you know, I'm not surprised with all the soft tissue injuries, because, like you said, these guys haven't. You know, maybe they worked out a little bit in their backyard.
Not at game speed. Not at game speed. They haven't.
Right. Yeah, well, you can't even do the regular workouts. The health clubs are closed, Les.
Yeah, that's true also.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one thing Hunt did right, was he trained like a boxer. You know, he had a guy and he had a hill, and he just, you know, went crazy over the hill. So, and in fact, my next question is about Hunt. How much are we paying him right now? It's not much, right? It's like
it's a couple million or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's $1.8 million. I think. Money's not an object with you at this point.
Right, and you know, and now because I worry about Chubb, you know, coming back a week after a concussion, that's, to me, I would rest the guy longer.
Well, and don't forget, you didn't say this, but what you really mean is, you know, the working communications between the health department there in Berea and the Browns. It's new also. You know, they speak a different language.
You're right, Les.
I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying it's a different atmosphere.
Yeah, and everything's new. You know, all fresh new staff and everything. But you know, I think that, you know, with what happened to Chubb, I would absolutely work to extend. You know, Hunt, maybe give him a 2 or 3 year contract, pay him $5-6 million a year, you know, maybe $7 a year, you know, and try and get him under contract.
5, 6, 7. Well, throw another one or two in.
It sounds real crass or cold, but the other issue is if he gets suspended, you know, he messes up and you give him a one. He doesn't get paid.
He doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea.
He's sort of a crazy kid, you know. I mean, he's sort of wild. He's not what I would call a mature adult.
No, but he can play. You're not looking
he can
for
play like hell.
Yeah. All right, Bill, we got to go. Stay safe out in California, okay?
Thank you. You too, guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
good to talk to you. That'll do it for us. Terry, great job as always.
All right. Oh, I was waiting for the walk-off line. How's your time management going?
It's very good. You know why? We have a clock, but we don't have to follow it. So I'm really good at it. I got to go now.
Hey. Some of the other Browns coaches said stuff like that, and you wouldn't let them get away with it.
I got to go. That'll do it for us. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.